Years had passed since Ali had rebuilt his life. His business was thriving, his name respected, and his success admired by many. Yet, deep inside, he felt something was still missing. Success had given him comfort, but not peace. One evening, Ali sat in his office, looking at the city lights outside his window. He opened the drawer and pulled out the same old letter. The paper was now even more fragile, but the words still burned with the same strength. "Be a light for others," Ali whispered to himself. "Mother, I've changed my life, but have I truly become a light for others?" The question haunted him. The next day, while driving through the streets, he saw a young boy sitting on the sidewalk with torn clothes, holding a few books in his hands. The boy's eyes were full of dreams, but his condition showed nothing but struggle. Ali stopped his car, walked toward him, and asked, "Why are you sitting here?" The boy replied shyly, "I want to study, sir, but I sell these books to buy food. If I don't, my little sister will sleep hungry." Ali felt a sharp pain in his heart. He saw himself in that boy, the same hunger, the same fear, the same helplessness. Without thinking twice, he bought all the books, handed the boy some money, and said, "Never give up on your studies. One day, these books will change your life." That night, Ali couldn't sleep. The boy's words echoed in his mind. He realized that his true purpose was not just to rise alone, but to lift others with him. The very next month, Ali started a foundation in his mother's name. He provided free education, food, and shelter for children who had no one to support them. It wasn't easy. Many people doubted him. Some even accused him of showing off. But Ali knew he was finally walking the path his mother had wished for him. His foundation grew. Hundreds of children began to study under his care. Every success story of those children felt like a message from his mother saying, "Yes, my son, now you are the light." But life still had more tests for Ali. One day, his business faced a huge financial crisis. Competitors tried to destroy him. Banks refused loans, and employees started leaving. For a moment, it felt like everything he had built was collapsing. Sitting alone in his office, Ali again opened his mother's letter. He read the line he had memorized years ago. "Success belongs to those who rise after every fall." He clenched his fists and said to himself, "If I've risen once, I can rise again." Instead of giving up, he worked day and night. He sold his luxury car, cut down all personal expenses, and invested everything to save his foundation and his business. Slowly, with patience and persistence, things began to change. His business survived. His foundation grew stronger. People who once mocked him now respected him even more. And whenever children from his foundation achieved something great, whether it was becoming a doctor, a teacher, or an engineer, Ali would look up at the sky and whisper, "Mother, today another light has been lit because of you." The clock ticked softly in the silence of the night. Ali sat at his desk, staring at an old letter lying in front of him. The paper had turned yellow with age, but the ink on it was still clear, still powerful enough to pierce through his heart. It was a letter from his mother, the woman he had lost 5 years ago. Ali unfolded the fragile paper and began to read. "My son, when this letter reaches you, I may no longer be in this world, but I want you to know that life is never easy. There will be times when everything seems broken, when the world turns against you. But always remember, the only person who truly loses is the one who gives up inside his heart." Tears filled Ali's eyes as he read those words. Memories rushed back. He remembered the days when he had given up on his studies, wasting time in meaningless gatherings with friends. His mother had always warned him, "Son, time is the most precious treasure. Don't waste it." But he never listened. When his mother became ill, Ali was too busy chasing comfort and leisure. He kept delaying visits, convincing himself there would always be more time. But one day, there wasn't. She was gone, and with her, the warmth of unconditional love vanished from his world. His hands trembled as he turned to the next part of the letter. My son, if life ever rejects you, do not surrender. People may laugh, they may insult you, but never run away from your dreams. Success comes only to those who rise after every fall. Those words cut deep. Ali realized how many years he had already wasted. He could not change the past, but perhaps he could still change the future. At the very end of the letter, his mother had written, I want people to look at you and say, this is the boy who turned his failures into strength. I want you to become a light for others. Just like the sun rises after the darkest night, Ali closed the letter, holding it close to his chest. That night, he made a decision that would change everything. The very next morning, he cut ties with his old habits. He stopped wasting time with friends who dragged him down. He picked up his books again, restarting from the very beginning. It was not easy. People laughed at him. They mocked him, reminding him of every mistake he had ever made. But Ali kept his mother's words alive in his heart. Rise after every fall. Days turned into months, months into years. Ali worked harder than he ever had in his life. Every failure only pushed him to try again. Slowly, the same people who laughed at him began to notice the change. And one day, that boy who once seemed destined for failure stood tall as one of the most successful businessmen in his city. But no matter how high he rose, he never forgot the true reason for his success, his mother's last letter. Every time he achieved something new, he would open that letter, read it again, and whisper, Mother, today I fulfilled another one of your dreams. Years went by. Ali grew older, his hair now streaked with gray, but his eyes still carried the same fire. The foundation in his mother's name had grown beyond what he had ever imagined. Thousands of children had passed through its doors, finding education, hope, and a future that once seemed impossible. Ali often visited the classrooms, sitting quietly at the back while the children studied. He would watch their laughter, their determination, and feel his heart fill with peace. Every smiling face reminded him of his mother's words, "Okay, be a light for others." But time is a river that never stops flowing. Ali's health began to weaken. The long years of struggle, hard work, and sacrifice had taken their toll. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Ali sat at his desk, the old letter still in his hands. The same letter he had carried through every storm of his life. He whispered softly, "Mother, I think I've finally done what you wanted. I've turned my failures into strength. I've built a light that will never go out." Tears filled his eyes, not of sadness, but of gratitude. The next morning, Ali called together all the children and teachers of the foundation. Standing before them, his voice weak but steady, he said, "My journey started with nothing but a letter from my mother. That letter changed me, saved me, and guided me. I want you all to remember something. No matter how dark life gets, no matter how many times you fall, never give up. Rise again, because your rise will inspire others to rise too." His words echoed through the hall. Many of the children cried, not because of fear, but because they knew they were part of something bigger than themselves. A few months later, Ali passed away peacefully in his sleep, the letter still resting on his bedside table. The news spread across the city like wildfire. People from all walks of life came to honor him, businessmen, teachers, children, and families whose lives he had touched. But his story didn't end there. The foundation continued to grow, run by the very children Ali had once supported. They carried his vision forward, ensuring that no child would ever have to give up on their dreams because of poverty or despair. And in every classroom, a framed copy of Ali's mother's letter was placed on the wall, reminding each child of the message that had changed one man's life and, through him, the lives of thousands. Do not give up. Rise after every fall. Be a light for others. Ali was gone, but his legacy lived on. His life became a story told to inspire generations, a story of failure, redemption, and the eternal power of a mother's love.